Welcome back to Behind the Lens, where we dive into the stories, strategies, and insights behind powerful business and brand communication. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest, Jean Duggar, owner of Genius Motivation and Coaching. Jean has helped countless businesses as well as individuals to unlock their potential and achieve success. We're going to have an open and engaging conversation today about the power of storytelling, personal branding, and how impactful communication can make all the difference in business. And of course, we'll also talk about the role of video, how professionals like Jean are using video content to expand their reach and connect with their audience on a deeper level. At Provision Studios, we're passionate about helping businesses tell their stories with high-quality video production. And today, we'll explore how the right message, paired with the right visuals, can take your brand to the next level. Jean, thank you so much for being here today.
Adam, thank you for having me here today at Provision. I am really excited to be here and talk about all of the great things that you guys have done for me.
Awesome, let's dive in. Talking about your personal journey and how you ended up at this point.
So when I was working for these surgeons, these great surgeons, I was almost like starstruck working for them because they know so much, they have so much knowledge. But once they had me start sharing knowledge with the patients, I really just got into it. And so they had me start leading some of their support groups and some of their seminars. And we went from that point to really having a group of people. Their support groups started out like around 10 or 15 people. Once I started leading them, it went to like 50 people, 100 people, to like there was no room.
Oh, wow.
It was just amazing. And it still didn't resonate with me that I was doing anything different other than my job. So I just kept doing what I do. I enjoy doing my job. I enjoy working. And then I got to talk to these patients. I didn't even realize that this whole time I'm standing in front of hundreds of people speaking and talking and sharing. My husband was the one that finally said, you should be doing this all the time. And I'm one of those people, I'm like, I'm just a mom, and I didn't really believe him. And I just said, no, I said, people don't speak for a living. And when I would hear people say, Jean, you help me, that's when my eyes really just started to open. People would wait for me at the end of those sessions to talk to me, to ask me about my journey. And I'm going to tell you, it took, I'm going to say almost 5 or 6 years before I understood my own craft. And even at that point, I really didn't understand. But you know how people say, you don't realize what you got until it's gone. I learned after I was getting ready to leave, there were a lot of patients that contacted me on my personal email stuff and said, hey, I really enjoyed being able to connect with you. You really changed my life. Hearing those words, I changed somebody's life. I never thought that I would be the type of person that could change anybody's life besides my kids. And the more and more people said, it took till it got to hundreds and hundreds of people before it finally just really sank in. But I had to dig deep and understand, and then I had to think about people that helped me along the way and what that looked like and what that felt like.
Yeah.
I had started working for another medical facility with a bunch of other great surgeons, because that's apparently who I run with, and I just love it. One of the CEOs I really connected with, and she was just, she was awesome. She was like, you're so motivating, you really just fill me with fire and everything. And I came in one day, I said, I'm going to start back speaking. I said, but it's going to be different. This is all going to be about motivation and picking people up and moving people forward and helping people put the pieces in the right place. This is what I'm going to do. And as soon as I said I was going to do that, and I run home and I tell my husband, and he looks unsurprised, like, you should have done this.
I've been telling you this for years now.
And that's just how it started. It was like a long story, a long journey to get to what I wanted to do. And once those chains got broken, I tell everybody. Like, not just me. We're all meant for something great. We're all meant for something great. So learning that about myself and being able to share it now is the best part of my day. I can sit and talk and coach someone and enjoy their transformation and look forward to helping them and not skip a beat. Because I love just hearing their story, and I love if somebody feels down, being able to help them get back up is the greatest thing. But to be able to tie that into standing in front of 100 people, 200 people, 1,000 people, hopefully one day 1 million people, and share not just my story. I enjoy sharing other people's story and talking about other people's triumphs and what they did. So sometimes it's an individual, sometimes it's a small group, sometimes it's a huge group.
Do you think you tailor your message any differently than, say, for like individuals versus, corporate?
So the biggest difference is if I'm working with someone one-on-one, I'm working on their story. I'm working on showing them who they are. It's like I'm building a mirror for them to see who they really are. Because sometimes everything that goes on in life makes us believe we are something different. So when I work with people individually, the first thing I try to establish is their mindset and understanding who they are. With corporate, I would have to say that the biggest thing is showing people that, when you're working with different individuals, it's important that you understand that a lot of times you don't know their job. And whether you're the boss, the employee, the CEO, the owner, everybody's perspective is different. So when I talk to corporate groups, I try to get people to walk in everybody else's shoes. And it makes a better work day. And even for the top executive person, oh wow, I can probably communicate with my people better now because of this or that. I can go to a company and I can see, hey, if you make these 2 adjustments, the day not only gets better for you, it gets better for your entire team, because that's what you should be, a team. It gets better for your team, it gets better for your client, whoever you're serving, it's going to get better for them. And then all the way around, of course, financially, it's going to lift up your business. And that's what you should want at the end of the day. It's all about transformation. It's all about change. It's all about getting through those processes. It's all about stepping forward. And if I can provide a transformation for one person, it is just as important as it is to provide transformation for 1,000 people.
Part of what you do as a speaker and a coach is storytelling.
Right.
You're inspiring. Provision Studios, a lot of what we do is telling stories. What do you think is important about storytelling for businesses?
So storytelling is a huge part of what I do and what you do. And when I work with you and you're behind the camera and you're getting all the information and I'm telling the story, you're telling the same story visually. You can see and you can feel that energy. So what you do through video for a story is you're bringing people in and you're connecting people. What I do in Genius is I tell stories about me and about other people to connect people to their journey. So I try to make sure that when people come to me on an individual basis, I let them know, and it's posted everywhere, that Genius is about storytelling your story. And I let them know, hey, from time to time throughout our journey together, we're going to talk about different stories about you, about me, and that's what's going to see you through. And at first they're like, okay. But then as that time moves on and they start to hear those stories, they really settle in and they look forward to that story and they want to know what happened next. And when I talk to corporations about stories, as soon as I say, let me tell you a story, or if I say, I want to tell you about, people lean in right away because they want to hear that story. Stories connect people in a way that nothing else can. And being able to personalize the person by telling the story it just is something the world will always need.
I think a big part of storytelling, whether it be through speaking or through video, is evoking emotion.
Oh yeah.
Getting people to feel something. What's a time that you told a story or you used a story or an anecdote and it really, truly resonated?
So I do this talk called Think and Believe Bigger. And I adjust it and I change it every single time because the main portions of it are about different people who thought one way and then begin to believe another way, and how their life changed and how that story came out. I get to see people really just say like, wow, I thought my story was nothing, which was where I was.
We never think of our own stories as being inspirational, ourselves as being inspirational.
Exactly.
But then you can inspire somebody without even knowing that they even heard your story.
Exactly.
So cool.
And that's exactly what happened. And being able to share stories, it just, that's something that everybody can do.
That's cool.
Everybody can do for cost of zero.
As long as you're open enough to be able to share your story.
There you go.
One of the biggest things is your authenticity. The audience can feel it, they can hear it. How do you think that plays a role in what you do? And what advice would you give for leaders, as far as authenticity and speaking is in front of a public audience?
Well, the advice that I would give, because I know that that's like one of the number one fears is public speaking. And sure, for me it's different because it's my love, but it's not for everybody. And with business leaders, sometimes they don't get to deliver great news, or even when they're delivering the great news, sometimes speaking in front of 5 people or 10 people can really be intimidating to them. And my advice to them, or to anyone, honestly, if you got to get up and speak, the first thing I would do is just really think about what you're saying, what it means to that person. So if you're talking to someone about, hey, this is what our quarterly financials are going to look like, how do you want that to be received? If it's bad, you don't want everybody to be doom and gloom. You want us to start thinking about a way to fix that. So when you get ready to get up to speak to somebody, you want to be passionate about how you're feeling, because you being authentic, just being yourself, is going to resonate more than any rehearsal will. And I know that sometimes big business, they want to get up, they want to be polished, they want it to be great, they want it to just come off just right. But you know what? If you get up and talk to a group of people the same way that you would talk to someone one-on-one, you'll do just fine. Don't worry about how you sound. Don't worry about, what's going to happen next. Stay in that moment. Stay in that moment. And when I get up to speak, because sometimes I do have to deliver bad news, or I have to have the uncomfortable conversations. But the one thing that I usually do is I start off with whatever the most positive part of that conversation is. And I always try to let people know that I appreciate them, and that, everything that I want to do for them is straight from the heart. But that's who I am. So if I'm talking to a business leader, I would tell them, just come straight from the heart.
You've leveraged video for your own business.
Absolutely.
So how important do you feel that video is for a business?
Oh my goodness, video is super important for your business. To have somebody just take it all off of me and take care of it, it's the best. There's not an event that I would do without it. And especially if you have a website, it's really important. And I know as a speaker, I apply for a lot of different events, and they're not local.
Right.
They're not local. And I've applied for some that are really far away.
There's a lot of different things out there, webinars,
Yes.
podcasts,
Yes.
on-demand, live stream content, or, just having your actual keynote speeches in a format that people can access. Do you think that, a speaker or a coach is kind of leaving money on the table if they're not doing webinars,
Absolutely.
if they're not doing podcasts?
Absolutely. And I had myself had to, pivot to that and come to you and say, hey, I'm going to need help with this because it's a lot to do. And, when you do things on your own, you want to have a polished look. You want to have something that people can go to and say, hey, they're choosing someone that is going to, put out good quality. And then once they get to see what you're doing, because first of all, you take that off table and you're more relaxed in your field because we've got somebody like you that can come in and say, hey, I've got this. You know exactly what to look for. You know to look for those little things that I am not paying any attention to. I can tend to my craft and know that you've got everything behind the lens taken care of. So I really appreciate just being able to work with someone like you.
I know if I just turned the camera on and you didn't have to worry about what I'm doing and how everything was lit and how it was being shot, how the audio was being captured, I knew that if I could just turn you loose and let you do your thing and let you get comfortable and be in your element, I knew that I'd be able to make you look like a rock star. So, I mean,
and you did.
I don't want to say you made it easy on me, but you kind of made it easy on me.
Yeah, we work well together.
So, unfortunately, we got to wrap things up. It's always awesome working with you. We've worked together many times before, and looking forward to many more events together.
Absolutely.
But where can people find what you do? Where can they find all of your information?
So, the first place they can find is go to my website, geniusmotivation.com. So, it's genius with a J, Jeanius, Genius Motivation. And they can just scroll to the bottom. They can click on the contact form. However, I love to be contacted directly. They can always text me or call me. And everything is right there on the website. But they could also reach me on LinkedIn at Genius Moco. Moco's for motivational coach. So it's Genius Moco. Or they can reach me on Facebook at Genius Motivation.
Very cool. And what events do you have coming up?
I actually have a webinar that I'm looking for a few corporations that are ready for full transformation. I'm doing seductive leadership through the Listen program through Genius Motivation, and that's all about leaders being able to understand their team. Also looking forward to another retreat. So the Genius Transformation, it's new power, new passion, new you. So I definitely am excited about those two things coming, but I'll have more towards the end of the year.
Very exciting. Sounds like you got a lot of cool stuff coming up on the horizon.
I do.
Well, it's very nice to have you on the show. I very much appreciate you being here.
Oh, thank you for having me here. We're going to work together quite often, but if anyone needs to know anything about you, they are welcome to come and ask me. I'm going to tell them that you're the greatest and that I appreciate everything that you do for us.
I highly encourage everyone watching to check out Jean's work. Whether you're looking to grow as a leader, improve your public speaking, or inspire your team, she has so much to offer. And if you're a business looking to elevate your brand through professional video content, that's where Provision Studios comes in. We help bring your message to life with precision and creativity, ensuring your brand connects with the right audience. Jean, thank you again for joining me today. It's been a pleasure.
It has been an absolute pleasure, and I know anybody that wants it done right, they're going to call Provision. I did, and that was the best decision I ever made. I enjoy working with you. I'm looking forward to working with you again.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And to our viewers, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to follow Behind the Lens for more conversations with industry leaders, entrepreneurs, and creatives who are making an impact. If you found today's discussion valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, keep telling your story, keep inspiring, and we'll see you behind the lens.